Sometimes getting hyper specific on a Keepa Product Finder search is one of the best ways to find a profitable lead on Amazon. What's up, everyone? It's Alex with AC Flips. I'm a full-time six-figure Amazon seller. In today's video, I'm going to set up a Keepa Product Finder search that is super niche and specific, so we can look at specifics. So we can look at a specific set of products and hopefully find a profitable lead in the process. Let's jump in. All right, we are on Keepa Product Finder, and we are going to define our search here so we can find a hyper-specific niche product or brand, and then we're going to maybe look at some of those products in our search to see if we can find anything profitably. So for the sales rank, so my goal here is to find products that are of a specific brand. We're going to pick Adidas today, and I am going to narrow it down to products that sell really quickly, have a decent buy box, and Amazon is not on more than 10 to 20% of the time. So if you've sold Adidas before, Amazon is on a ton of those listings. Well, we're going to dig for the listings that Amazon is not selling from Adidas and see if we can get those profitably. So again, we want to pick some very fast moving products, and we're going to try to avoid maybe some shoes. So current rank, we want to stick under 25,000. This is going to be in the clothing category. And then just to make sure that we're not in a fluke downturn, we want to pick some sort of an average to be below 25,000 as well. So basically, last 30-day average, this product has been below 25,000. If we want to niche down to products that are starting to pick up in steam, which we're moving into a warmer season, right? It is still winter, but it's getting warmer out. So what we could do is find, sales ranks that are decreasing over the last 90 days or even over the last 30 days, right? It might be a little early to search those types of products, but people are going to start looking for some warmer weather clothing. So if we really wanted to niche down that far, we could by looking at, the 7-day drop or the 30-day drop. So we start with like a -5% in the last 30 days up to say a 99% drop in the last 30 days. Now, again, the last 30 days, we're past the Christmas season, so we won't see too much trend from that. But we do want to see any products that are starting to pick up in velocity in the last 30 days. So that's what I'm doing here. 30-day drops percentage, right? This is how much percent has the sales rank dropped in the last 30 days. So a negative number means that it's risen. So we have, a 5% rise in the sales rank, which again, we don't want to eliminate too many products because we might eliminate some good products that are still selling quickly, some winter gear, right? And then we have, up to a 99% drop in that sales rank in the last 30 days. Now, over the next month or even 2 months, this is going to become a lot more apparent and a lot more products might show up in this category only because sandals and short sleeve t-shirts and shorts are going to start popping up and increasing in velocity over the next month and a half. So already we've narrowed it down a ton just by setting up this first sales rank chart. Now, as for buy box, we're going to eliminate some of the really cheap items, right? Adidas does have a lot of cheaper items. So whether that's a $15 t-shirt or a $12 pair of socks, we probably know we can't get those cheap enough. So we're going to eliminate some of those low products. So I'm actually going to go up to a $25 minimum buy box. We also actually want to avoid some shoe listings. I know there's probably some really good shoe listings out there, but I'm not super familiar with shoes. So for me, I would rather stick to the clothing side of things or backpacks or accessories. So I'm actually going to put a cap of say $70 on the top side because we want to eliminate some of those Adidas shoes. Now there's going to be shoes in this, right? $70 is still within range of some Adidas shoes, but any of the high-end Adidas shoes that sell a little bit slower or are part of a variation listing that don't sell very quickly, those items will be eliminated from the search here. And you can tell we've already eliminated a ton of products just by adding these couple things here. Now, if we wanted to do something that's increasing in buy box, we could, but that's not super relevant to our search. And it's not a necessity to find the products that we're looking for. So we're not going to do any drops percentage or inverse drops percentage on the buy box price. But next thing we're going to go down to is the category. So we're going to look, again, I said we're looking at Adidas today. So we want clothing and shoes. And then we're going to scroll down to the brand here, and we want to do Adidas. So we highlight Adidas. This is the brands that we want to include. And since Adidas has a couple different, like Adidas Originals, Adidas, we want to include both of them. We could do, all the specific Adidas, like Adidas Golf, Adidas Outdoor. But honestly, that stuff is, not super important to us. Maybe golf is something that is going to be, a search we could look at very niche specific in the near future. When the snow all starts to melt and people are golfing again, but that's more maybe a month, 2 months out from now. So we're going to avoid that for now. But you can see just by these two searches, we're already down to 4,500 products. Now, one thing you can do, again, we're going to try to eliminate shoes. All right, so now what I can do is take this title here and write subtract shoes, and that's going to eliminate anything that has a title with shoes in it. Now, I didn't eliminate a ton of products, and there's still going to be a bunch of shoes in the listing. So what we have to do is go a little bit deeper, and we're going to eliminate some shoe categories. So these subcategories, there's going to be shoes involved, and it's going to be a bunch of different things, but we can eliminate a couple of these to kind of help us narrow our search even further. So we have this one here, which is athletic running shoes, road running. So we're going to eliminate that. And we're going to eliminate a couple other of these categories, another running, road running. Again, these are going to be similar, but it's also eliminating products you can see down the line here. So we're just going to keep going down the line. Here's the actual shoe, it's work and utility, but it is shoes category. So we're just going to keep eliminating products here, and we'll keep going until we find, here's running shoes. That's going to eliminate a couple. And then there's most of the shoes that are going to show up. If we want to eliminate like cleats and stuff like that, again, I don't think a lot of those are going to show up in these searches. Basketball shoes, maybe. But again, so we eliminated some of the shoe listings. We removed the shoe title. So hopefully, we might find some sandals that are in our range. We might find some other shoes that are in our range that don't have shoes in the title, or maybe they're miscategorized. But either way, we eliminated most of the shoes here, so we can stick to clothing and accessories because that's what we want. But 2,700 products is still quite a bit to look through. So there's a couple more things we want to sort through before we actually look at these products. All right, so now we're down to offer count. So what I want to do with offer count is we want to eliminate the main sellers that are selling Adidas, which is going to be Amazon and Zappos. Those are the two big ones. So what we can do here, if we want to try to narrow this down, we can set a minimum offer count of 3. And that's going to eliminate anything that Amazon and Zappos is on. If they're sharing the listing together, it'll eliminate that. And then hopefully, 3 means that there are other sellers other than Amazon on the listing. So a minimum of 3 current. We could do average 30 days, but I think if you just have currently more than 2 sellers, that's going to give us, a pretty narrow search. And again, we went from like 2,700 down to 1,300. There's one more step that we can do to narrow this even further. And this might really niche us down. So that's what we want to see here. And this is the Amazon out of stock percentage. So even in this search that we have here, we narrowed it down a ton, but Amazon might be still dominating the buy box or on the listing 100% of the time. So what we want to do is eliminate Amazon from owning the buy box percentage, at least a certain amount of time. So I'm actually going to go 50 and just see what that brings our search down to. If we need to modify this number at all, we can. Okay, so now we're down to 447. Maybe we want to eliminate Amazon a little bit further, so we'll bring that number up. And this is basically saying, right, 90-day out of stock percentage, Amazon is out of stock 75% of the time in the last 90 days. So that's what we care about. We're down to 332 products. That's pretty specific. And hopefully that gives us, the type of products we're looking for that Amazon's not on, has a buy box over 25, sales rank is very quick moving, and then we just have to find these products profitably somewhere on websites. So I feel like we got this narrowed down pretty well. We started with, a couple million products at the beginning, all the way down to 332. Now, this is a list that you can send to your VA, your sourcing VA, and you can have them go through this list, right? We can export this list here, or you can go through it yourself. It's not going to take super long to look through these because there are going to be products that are just, you can tell by the title that are not worth looking into, right? Maybe it's like a red sweatpant and it's 5X or 3XL tall, like those sizes might not sell very quickly. And we can judge that based on the rank, based on the color, and hopefully that can eliminate some of these other products. But let's actually look at the search and see what products showed up and see if any of these are worth looking into. Okay, so there's a couple different ways we can attack this search. We can sort by the buy box price, and that will go, smallest to largest or largest to small. We can search by the sales rank and look at the fastest moving products first, and then goes down the line to the slowest moving products. But again, the slowest moving products we should see here is probably going to be around that 30,000 rank. So even in clothing, that is still really good. I think I'm going to leave it as is because it's kind of doing a hybrid search between, that current buy box in the last 30 days. We can see that it's starting with the really fast moving products, and then it's going down the line here. So we can see some shoes are showing up, but again, maybe those are worth looking into. They obviously didn't get eliminated from our search based on our criteria. But let's look at some of these products to see if we can find any profitably. So we have, starting with these Adidas socks. Again, it's a really fast moving product. So what we want to do is just hover over the title here, and that's going to show the chart itself. So the Keepa chart, the sales history, that's really important. So basically this product's been out of stock from Amazon since December 1st, basically. And we can see that the price is definitely elevated from what it was when Amazon was on the listing. But it looks like the buy box is on around that $25. So if we think we can get these for maybe like $10, $11, then we might be able to sell these profitably at the $25 price point. So for me, this is there's navy in there, black, white, gray. So if this is a variation listing, which it probably is, might be a little bit of a low or slower seller, compared to if there's just all black or all white variations. Before we look at this product, let me quick do, a configured columns, because you guys want to make sure that you're looking at the right data here. So how I have my chart set up here is pretty useful, and it's all the information that I care about using, right? So if you want to change it to your settings here are the ones that I have set up, and then in the order that I have them. So if you configure your columns, we have Amazon 90-day out of stock. Obviously the ASIN we have the new FBA count and FBM count. It's interesting to see how many FBM sellers are on the listing. And if there are no FBA sellers, then maybe you can, see that as an opportunity to merchant fulfill. Keep scrolling down. We have obviously the image of the product, super important, because it's going to help you, determine if the product is worth looking into in the first place. Locale is that first column there that helps you export this product to Amazon, so you can actually look at the data, look at your seller amp, click into Google, all that good stuff. Keep scrolling down, and we're going to see that we're looking at the sales rank 30-day average, 90-day average. Again, it's going to be very similar with the current buy box versus the 30-day. So that's really what we care to see there. The title of the product has to be in there as well, and you want to make sure that's next to the product photo, so you can just compare and make that quick analysis. And that's basically all the information that you're going to need in your columns here. So I have that locale first, the image, then the title. ASIN is good to see, but I don't ever click on that, because once we open the listing, we can get that ASIN pretty easily. Want to see the current buy box at a glance, the 30-day sales rank average, and then how many sellers are on the listing here. And then Amazon out of stock, right? Is Amazon on the listing a bunch? You can kind of see that from the chart itself. So not super important, but it is a nice metric just to have offhand. So what I'm looking at here when I'm doing my quick analysis is I'm looking at the chart, and I'm reading the title and looking at the color of the product right away, right? If these are like pink socks, probably not going to sell very quickly, something I might skip over. But since it is cool, light heather, navy, white, it's a large sock, which is a very common size, might be something to look into. And since the rank is so low on a product like this, a lot of variations are going to sell. So this is definitely worth looking into, especially based on the chart. So let's open the Amazon listing. All right, so now what we want to do is look at the variations tab. We want to see, is this variation actually worth looking into, right? We don't want to do a ton of analysis on this product and then realize that there are no ratings, no reviews, the product doesn't move, and then we wasted a bunch of time. So make sure that you're doing that analysis here. We do see there's quite a few variations here, and then different size variations. So we just want to make sure this one actually sells. Even though it is a fast moving product, most of the sales or the bulk of the sales could be in like top 3 or 4 variations. So we just want to double check that. So we go to the variations tab on Keepa, and then we can scroll down and see, yep, it's all black, all white are the top sellers here, but that doesn't mean our variation isn't selling. We just want to make sure that there are some sales. So it's not too far down the line, and it has gotten almost 100 reviews. And you can see that is constantly going up over the last 90 days, which is a great sign here, right? That's what we want to see. So we don't have to like re-click into that, right? Let's go back to the price history chart. Looks pretty steady. $25 buy box, was selling at $26, $27 in the past. But let's see if we can get this. Yeah, we got to get it for as low as $8.45. Going to be pretty tough to do. But we do know that this listing is moving very quickly. So we should be able to sell this product a decent amount of times per month if we can find it profitably. So we click that Google button, open this up, see if we can even get it remotely close. Looks like we need, again, we got to find that navy color, which again might be harder to find here. If we don't find it right away, I don't like to search too far, because I know if it's not going to show up here, probably move on to the next product here. So could open the Adidas and see if they have that variation, but if it's not popping up in the original search, probably not going to show up here. So yeah, we can see that Adidas only has the $22 pair, full price of their original white sock, and Amazon is on that listing. So we're going to move on here. We'll look at a couple more just to do our overall analysis and then wrap up the video here. So, okay, so we have some sandals, some slides. So when I see a bunch of these slide listings, I want to maybe pick one. If they're all fast moving, let's make sure we have one that has a decent size, right? Like size 4 probably doesn't sell very often compared to a size 9, 10, 11. And then, we want to make sure the color is right. I mean, blacks and whites are definitely great in the sandal category. But again, we want to make sure that we have the right size. The chart looks decent before actually wasting time. And then make sure the buy box is okay, right? If we see 3 of the same sandal all in the size range, and then we see one that has a $5 buy box higher than the rest, maybe start with that product, right? You can always look into the other ones, but we want to give ourselves the best chance to find the product right away instead of wasting time on other listings that we probably can't find. So let's see here. Core size 5, see size 4. That's the thing about doing this search, is that you might, to fit the criteria, some of these products are going to be some of the slow movers that have a higher buy box, right? Or whatever it is to match your search criteria. But that's why you're going to see size 6, size 5. But sometimes, right, you're going to find products that do sell pretty quickly, are a good size, and those are the ones we want to dig into further. So let's skip some of these shoe listings. Again, we have 332 products. So I just want to open up one more product, do our analysis on, so we can actually, see what it takes to find these products. So we have a 3XL tall. Again, the rank is decent, but 3XL tall in white, and I can see the chart doesn't look super favorable. Amazon's on the listing currently, and they haven't been in a while, so not what I want to look at here. We have some boxers that looks like these charts are decent, and the rank is decent, so maybe this stuff is worth looking into. 2XL in a red, white, and blue. Same thing here, large. Large is definitely something that seems like it would rank higher than a 2XL, and the buy box is only $2 cheaper. So that's a good sign. Let's look at this. Looks like there's only 7 sellers in the listing. Amazon's off the listing 100% of the time in the last 90 days. So let's open this one here. Again, we can always look at the other variations on this and see if maybe that 2XL is a little bit better of a match for what we're looking for. But we see that the large sells a little bit faster, probably just based off intuition. So we're going to look at this product first. And again, we can go down to the variations tab here. See, the chart also looks decent on this. It's dropped a little bit recently, but the offer count, isn't moving a ton, and it's pretty low off the bat. Only 7 sellers on it. So we see that buy box is at $36. Let's just double check that this color and size variation actually sells. What we can also see is that the top selling variations, the ones that have a ton of reviews, are at the top, and Amazon's not on them as well. So that's pretty interesting. We could definitely take a look at like a $39.99 buy box, basically higher than what we're looking at, and it sells quicker. So if that's in stock, it's an option to look at, but let's find ours that we were looking at. So this color here is in the medium, and actually the buy box is a little bit higher. So we might want to change it to that instead. But we can see the large is right here. Rating count is going up a little bit. But I kind of like that medium because the medium actually has a higher buy box, and Amazon is not on the listing as well. So let's take a look here. We get a little bit more cushion on our price because the buy box is $4 higher, $5 higher, which means we're probably going to have our max cost be $3 or $4 higher as well. So again, we'll scroll down to the chart, make sure the chart looks decent. It actually does look pretty decent. We see very consistent price around that $40 price point. A little inflated now, but that's expected. And it looks like people are selling at that $43, $44 price point. So if we move our price there, we can see now we can get this for $20 and be profitable. So let's search it on Google, see if we can find it. And if we can't, right, that's okay. But at least we know what we look for, and we found the best product that gives us the best chance to find something profitably. So again, we're looking at, this is the right color path here. Kohl's has it for 36. That's the 2X. Not quite what we want to see here. So we're going to scroll down a little bit and see if we can get this at a website, right? So Adidas, Zappos has it for 27. If they ran a discount, we might be able to find that, right? 27 is not going to work for us here. A little bit low, but if we can get this closer to that $21, might be worth looking into. So we can see Kohl's has it, but they were offering it for $36. So not going to be ideal for us. See, Adidas, doesn't seem like Adidas has the direct match here. So one last thing that I'm going to check, I don't see a direct match for that color. We see Zappos $29.97. Again, Kohl's looks like maybe they only have the 2X in stock. If we keep searching here, doesn't look like we see that red, white, gray combo. Upper 90, too expensive. So what I'm going to do actually is we're going to look at that top selling variation, the one that Amazon is not on, right? $39.99. And even though it doesn't have a buy box, doesn't mean it doesn't sell. We just got to make sure that Amazon is not on this listing all the time. But otherwise, this one could be, a more common size at other retail stores. So it might be easier to find for us as well. So it looks like Amazon's not on this listing at all, which is great. $39.99. The offer count is increasing, but maybe that's a sign that, it is a fast mover and people are still finding this profitably. So hopefully we are able to find this a little easier than we found the other ones. So we can see that the 3-pack cotton stretch Bob store has a $21.98. It's a good sign for us. We need this for $19.87. Looks like we have performance boxer brief 3-pack. We just got to make sure that this is a direct match here. and you can kind of line up the product and what it looks like. It looks like it's a very similar match here. As long as these are cotton, right? That's what we care about too. So it doesn't look like it's cotton. So maybe it's not quite the direct match here. But if we assume that this product is okay here, they don't have the size that we want anyway. So that's the right price point, but we don't have the right size. So that's going to wrap up this video. And hopefully you guys are able to really niche down your searches in Keepa Product Finder. Keepa Product Finder is such a great tool because you can get as specific as you want. You can get as broad as you want to get, the searches that we're looking for to help us find profitable leads, especially if you know a sale is running on a certain brand or a certain website. We can really hone in on those products so we can increase our efficiency while sourcing and hopefully put us in front of some better products. If you guys found this video helpful, subscribe to the channel. It would mean a lot, and I will see you in the next video.